safely, Jeremy. Watch out for people on their cell phones. Crop Square. These are our latest ones in 2024. I posted also in the community old footage of how these spheres, these orbs, are making crop circles. We'll get into that tonight. Hedge of protection over you, Jeremy. Other way. Damn. There we go. Divine design, higher math, higher geometry. Actually, there's symbols, they mean stuff. Like this one, doesn't look like it means anything or it's a crop circle, but that should look familiar. If it doesn't, I'll explain it a little bit. Maybe that's what they're trying to get across to us. pause there. Escape here. I need to hold on to that page. All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. I tried to come back last night. And I had the whole show lined up and everything. And the cat reminded me, whoops, don't forget to feed me before the show. So I stepped aside for a second, come back, and the computer's all frozen up. And by the time I get it rebooted, and all the agencies that watch me, it takes a long time. And by then, everybody was asleep or watching something else. So that's why we weren't here last night. So over here, we're at Stereo A because, well, we're going to start over here first. Let's load this up. And while that's loading up, I'm going to take a moment here while it's loading up to thank you guys for taking a moment of your time to be a part of this precious family. Also, I would like to thank you for being patient while I was gone for the last couple of days, okay? When these objects come through, it does a number on me, okay? And I'm still recovering, so here we go. Just bear with me as we try to shuffle through this. Anyways, thank you for the moment of your time. When you stick around for the spiritual report at the end of the show, you will indeed find out how precious this family is and how precious you are to me. All right, let's get the ball rolling here. As you can see here, kind of quiet today, just a few spits and sputters, little satellites popping out here and there. Let's pop open yesterday too, because I wanted to do this one last night. Now, there's not much to see on this one either while it's loading up. Just thank you for kind of going through this really quick. All right. So here's yesterday's activity. And we have a jump in data there. And that's kind of why I didn't really report again, because I was hoping we'd get some more data out of this. But you can see this big, huge explosion right here with the round circular event right here. Okay, let's go back. Ooh, face. But we'll not get into those too much tonight. All right, so it jumps from 1436 to 1901, and you can see the ghost image right here. Something went on. There's a round object moving through there. Just kind of rehash yesterday because we didn't do one yesterday. You can see little moons and stuff squirting through there. All right, so let me go ahead and start that one more time. So you can see that was the 19th. And then we'll come over here. See the tail end of that thing. They cut it out because they didn't want to see everything in there, I don't think. So 19th, 20th we just did. Let's take a peek here at the 19th. This is the one I had going on Stereo A. Now, Stereo A only takes an image every hour, but it did capture the event, or a few frames of our event. The missing frames that were kind of missing time period. So here's this event. Let me scooch just a little bit for your viewing pleasure. Back up. Okay, so here we are, 12/19/2024, around 10:53 when we see this boom. Big eruption off the sun right there. You can see our little black objects accompanying it, draping plasma, pulling plasma out and stuff. There's drapes around them. Okay, so just a few frames of that event that was kind of missing out of our other one. All right, and then we can also, well, we'll tease that here in a minute. We also got that one too. So let's pop open here, space weather, or solar hamster, sorry. Okay, now let's do this. Our solar flux index is at 184. We're up 9 points. So we're about 16 points away from going into the red. So very close. We're getting higher and higher. So sunspot number count up 52 sunspots to 148. So we jumped from below 100 to 148 because we have 52 new sunspots. That means something's approaching. 1,310 are in the green. That just to familiarize where stuff is located until we get this map back. 3932 over here, 30. 3925. You can't see polarities. I'm just kind of pointing out regions. 3926, 3928, 3927, 39. Okay, so there's kind of your map. This is old data from the day it froze up, so we can't see that. Backing out now. Let me just zoom into our GOES X-ray flux and see how fluxed we are. X-ray flux, that is. Swimming pools and movie stars. Because I'm just a hillbilly. All right. Here's yesterday's bumpiness. A bunch of little satellite moons here and there, spits and sputters, a couple of M-class, few M-class flares, but nothing really too much to show. Again, here today, a couple more spits and sputters, a little bumpy ride, just a couple of M-class flares. Smooths on out after that event, and then all of a sudden, right going into the next day, we have this sharp little spike right here. Smooths out another little thing. Would you guys like to take a little peek at this? No? You wouldn't want to just kind of pop open this link here that hasn't even, here, let's refresh it too and get every frame. Well, since you don't want to see 12/21/24, which would be the Mayan calendar anniversary, December 21st, Paul Bagley's birthday today too, on this day, and shortest day of the year. But since you guys don't want to see it, I guess we're going to do it anyway. All right, not much to see, but you do see a little scattering of some of these moons playing out a little bit, so probably one of this event right here or something. Okay, note this spire region up here is still glowing pretty good, so we're probably looking for something else in this region pretty soon. All right. I think some of you guys saw it, and just the light bulb went off and there. But we'll discuss it later at the spiritual end. Just really quick, let's take a peek at Stereo A and what's under the hood there. See at this angle on this filter, we can see a little bit more of these satellites, and it's just a bunch of them all scattered out. They're the trailing moons from our big objects, okay? The three big ones in a row. Okay, so there's your solar X-ray flux. That's how fluxed we are. Okay, now 3-day geomagnetic forecast. I don't know if they forecast anymore, but it's all green. That's good. We'll see what's heading our way. Meanwhile, for the last couple of days, these M flares, 2.5, 2.1, and 3.8. Okay, current aurora conditions are pretty decent right now. There's no yellow or anything going on in there, which is good. We don't need to be absorbing any more energy. This battery is kind of overcharged, and any more geomagnetic radiation gets sent to the poles deliver it to the core heats up and swells, the magma heats and swells, pushes on the underside of the crust, and out come the earthquakes and volcanoes. Now, meanwhile, please pop the KP, please, Lord, can we have that? Thank you. So it said active, which it is. It's been a little up and down here, only KP4, nothing too serious, but a little roller coaster ride. Boom, 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 boom. All this is energy that goes, anything above 2 really is energy that kind of gets diverted to the poles and absorbed down to the core. All right, so we've had little waves of energy, nothing too bad since our G1 the other day. Okay, so active, but still nothing more than KP4. Now, over here on our sunspots, here's all your numbers and everything. 3928 beta gamma and growing, 3927 beta gamma and growing. So these two sunspot regions might be the ones, either one go delta, that we might see some, maybe even X-flare activity out of it. Okay, now below is an updated look at the new sunspot regions as we head into Friday, courtesy of the Larimoth Observatory located in Australia. Oh, good day, mate. The main focus in this cluster of active regions located in the southeast quadrant of these AR 3928 was the most active on Thursday and appears to be growing. Another potential region trailing 28 is now just rotating into view, and we will get a better look during the next 24 hours. Latest NOAA update shows 50% chance for additional moderate M flares and a lower 5% chance for a strong X flare. Okay, for a strong X flare, we might see a weak X flare, a really strong 9 that barely scratches the X surface or something if one of these goes delta. But beta gamma, 2 of them, and growing, and our sunspot number count is growing. I pointed out that this little spire region here, it's a little different angle now than this one. But this region, even possibly the dark patches, okay, some of these objects absorb light, leaving a dark patch, okay? So they're absorbing the light in the area sometimes as well. Okay, so there's your little setup for the moment. Now, coming back to Solar Ham, I just want to hop into the tracker, do some track-a-lacking. Since we are lacking some tracking, we are definitely lacking some tracking. Okay, there was activity coming off of the sun. We just saw it on the instrumentation. No CME majors, I guess, coming our way, which is good, but that didn't look too updated, but we'll see. All smooth for the next couple of days here. That's good. I'll take that anytime. So let's back on out and continue on here, please, Lord. Can we continue on? Down out of there. So I gotta leave these ones open for a spiritual report. I'm just kind of banging out the regular reports tonight so we can get to the spiritual report here. All right. Really quick. Peek in here. Big sunspot alert. Please scroll up. Okay, big. Okay. A large and complicated group of sunspots has just emerged over the sun's southeastern limb. The group includes at least 15 dark cores and sprawls across more than 250,000 kilometers on the sun's surface. Amateur astronomers, yeah, not much of a picture there. Where were the astronomers again? Mercury's surface, no, they were up here. Amateur astronomers point to your solar telescopes here. Okay, well, Mercury's tail has returned. Space weather affects some planets more than others, especially Mercury. It's really hard on Mercury. The solar wind scours Mercury's rocky surface at point-blank range, creating a sodium tail, salt tail. Occasionally, visibly from Earth. Okay, little salt tail. Okay. Solar winds battering this thing and stuff streaking off of it. I'm showing you little representations of that, similar to that before. Okay, we got to move on. Let's get the Schumann done here. See how this ride has been. Okay, let me take out that. Now, for the last 48 hours, couple of days since I reported. It's been pretty good. Little scrapes and scratches here and there. Okay, spits and sputters. But here we go. It's starting to increase. And right now, our current reading right there, that white bar on the end. Let me pull it up just a little bit better for you. All right, there's good. Okay, so good continuity. I want to talk about this region right here. Okay, so we got low frequency waves that emanate from the core and the shell down below, especially when they're grinding, and that shell vibrates. Okay, that vibration of the shell it has a hollow sound because it's not totally hollow. It has a core sitting in the middle of it, but it is a hollow structure, so it does give a kind of hollow type sound. So you see these streaks, and they're all about the same intensity, and they're all different or different frequencies, hertz, from 0 to 40. Okay, so going along. Then everything pretty much from 20 on down, or well, we'll say 14 here on down, which is up on the screen, but this is 0. All starts to get aggravated and stuff right through this region right here. You see these burps, stop, pressure, quick, and then just one after another right there. This little segment right here, I believe what we had is magma that's flowing on the underside of the crust. Okay, the magma doesn't just push up on it, it also flows like rivers because the planet's spinning. So there are underwater, under our plates, there are flow structures of magma flowing around in currents and in flow. So when that flow gets pushed up and flows on the underside of the crust, I believe that's this grinding that we saw here, because it wasn't intense at these other higher frequencies. When these frequencies hit the crust slows them down, so we get our lower frequencies. So that looks like a little event right here where magma was pushing, rotating, or grinding along the underside of the crust right here. Then we come out of that little vent, you see it kind of flare up again, but then it, subsides. You see good continuity, and then here we go, roller coaster ride again, you guys. So hang on. And this is an indication of pressure building up. We absorb some energy, and it's taking effect down at the core. Okay, and it's starting to grind down there. And until we have, a good release of pressure to undo this, release this, it's starting to get intense again. All right, so hang on here, kiddies. Let me open up the null school, and we'll get schooled by the null. Earth, where are you, Earth? There you are. Whew. Still there? Okay, good. Intertropical convergence zone still pushed up a little high here. Okay, it should be more down by the equator. We have thermal activity on the ocean floor that shifted this. It's not per se that the Earth is shifted. It's more that our thermal anomalies are pushing this up. Oh dear. We're at the surface still. Let's get up to where the weather is. Oh boy. No way. Okay, we have quite the intense vortex going on right here. We still have this one parked up here in the Gulf of Alaska. This same kind of, well, not same, but a similar feeding of moisture right into the Pacific Northwest, right up the coastline, just grazing these guys. Okay. So let me just kind of back out there. We'll take a little tour around the world here. Still this big old dome of, well, a hedge of protection right there. It's been there for a long time now. For a reason. Alrighty then. I don't see too much, just what's going on over here in Europe. Look at this. England and Ireland getting battered again by another intense storm. So, some of these regions are being picked on biblically, kind of, if you can see that happening here too. Okay, for those of eyes that see. Okay. Alrighty, so there's your vortexes and funky faces or whatever. Now what I want to do is let's get on over to our sandstorm report. There it is in red. Let's hang on to that red for a second. This is a better visual of how intense this sand just gets caught up in the wind and blown right out into the Atlantic. These vortexes divert it, suck it up this way. Before we saw it going all the way up to England, clear up to here. So let me go ahead. Wow. Dang, it's there in that realm too, huh? Let me go down to our sand now. All right, and take off the wind. Okay, so here's your sand plumes that we just saw. Here's your intense patches here getting pulled out into the Atlantic. You saw those rotations pulling it up. This looking like a nice wave cresting out there or something. Almost like a bird's head too. Kind of curled little beak or something there. Like before Christmas or something. All right, here we go. Trying to get the wavy lines and color still. Let's back out a little bit. There we go. Still intense sand plumes over here in the Middle East. A lot of this reactivity coming off the coast of Africa out into the ocean as well as off of Saudi Arabia. Let's put the winds back on and see where it's really coming from. Yeah, mainly Saudi Arabia blowing out here. Some's getting pulled back in. The rest is getting sucked out that way. Okay. Well, take off the wind. Okay, you guys are hanging tough. So there's your activity, your sandstorm activity. Ever since November of last year, the sandstorm kicked up and has not stopped since. So you're looking at over a year-long event, and now it's wrapping around the world. The other night we saw it creeping up the coast, and it made it all the way up here too. Well, I'll let you be the judge of this, but we have sand up here at the North Pole. Okay, and before it was one little tiny plume that had reached in, and then a second one had kind of reached in, and they kind of filled in a little bit. Now, just a few days later, look at how much sand is there. What I'm going to try to do here is, we're on top, so I can't really move that. It's going to stay there. What I can do, though, is let's just start plucking away at days. We're going to go backwards in days. So there's day ago. Please, Lord, we have a day ago. Oh, this is in hours. All right, well, let's go hours. Actually, let's go days. So you saw what it was right there? No, let's go back to the 8th. Okay. Bink. Oh, see it disappear? See right there, this whole area, it was just starting to get up here into this region on the 8th, and then I bumped it to what, the 19th here? So you saw what it looked like there. Let's go to, that was, sorry, that was months. Let me do this again. We're on the 20th. Let's go back 5 days. So 5 days ago, you could see it kind of creeping up into this region. All right, storm down here. I brought it up to this region now. That was just a few days ago. Now, look how intense it is. So in the last few days, we just seen a big bloom intensify at the North Pole. You're not going to see this on the news. Many people aren't going to believe it anyways, but if you come over to this instrument, you've been following this for a minute with me, you can see that. Is that a bull? The nostrils, the mouth, the eyes, the horns coming up. That's a bull right there. You guys see that? A bull's head, like smoke coming out of his nose or something. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. Oh, worship the cow. Oh, dear. Do you guys see that? I'm going to leave that there for... yeah. Help me, Lord. Help me explain this to him. Give him courage, Lord. Give him courage. Same courage you give me. All right. Very interesting how the eyes are defined, three-dimensional nose, the nostrils are there, the mouth is open, well-defined horns coming up here. There we go, take off some of that stuff. Now you can see it in green there. Okay. You're welcome to come over here and check out this instrument too, because I didn't produce this. This is their instrument and their readings. Okay, we got to move on. I can't get you guys too much into that yet. We're not there yet. Whew. Okay, let's come on over and do SO2, sulfur dioxide. This is vaporized magma, or the gas that surrounds the magma down below. Magma is pushing on the underside of the crust, wants to come out, any kind of perforation it can. But since it's so thick and viscous, it won't come out in these little tiny pinholes. But the gas can manage, and we have this divided country effect right here. Okay, been doing this for a while now until my blood runs out of my hand. One side, very porous, bleeding out on the right. The other side, on the west coast, more thick granite, mountainous terrain. So your emission points are more volcanic in nature. There you go. Every time. So as we look in here, the East Coast, just all of these places bleeding out. Okay, you see all these perforations. The wind takes this, blows it all over the place as well. Okay, over here on this side, you can see different little sites, and some of these, when we get flare-ups of pressure from down below, some of these emission sites occasionally get a fire sparked by the heat from the SO2. Here we go. All right, so very strong SO2 emission site right here with fires around it. Now, it's not the fires that are producing sulfur dioxide. They produce carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. The trees aren't made of sulfur, okay? But the sulfur emissions are so intense at this site that it's setting any kind of surrounding vegetation on fire, spontaneous combustion because of the heat transfer. Here's one going on there. We look up here, here's another one. Okay, so we're seeing, is that another one up here? Oh, no. So we're seeing a little pickup, a little flare up in fires way up here in Canada right now in the winter time. Okay, it's a little out of season for fires up there, but it's because of this SO2 emissions. Okay, I'm gonna take the fires off now. Take a tour of the world. Okay, a few years ago, 4 of these little dots showed up along the Sierras, and I think it was BP Earthwatch noticed it, and the whole internet community took notice. And, well, is it the big one? Is it this? And speculated and stuff. But now it's coming out of every island. It's coming out, all over the place. There's more than 4 dots, would you say? And nobody seems to take notice anymore. There's so much distractions going on from the dangle a carrot in front of your face media. Hey, look over here, distraction here. Just don't look at what's going on here, okay? You see all the way down the coastline. These are all independent sites. This is not a plume. These are all individual sites. Look at this little spot right here flaring up in intensity. That's a new spot. Okay, new path of least resistance. I think this one may have done it a long time ago, but somewhere in that region. Now, that dark spot and our other dark spot is our fulcrum point right here. And we like to touch base with this and these other 4 in this area. They're a good indicator of, ebb and flow of pressure. And you can see this top one getting pretty dark, well-defined. This one's dark, well-defined. Our 5th, newest, latest addition on the coast. It's alive and kicking there. So little uptick in pressure, pushing out a lot of SO2. You see the intense emission sites down the coastline. And then here's our good SO2 plume. That's a pretty healthy plume being, blown out into the Pacific, as well as look at how big the plume is on the Atlantic side. All right. SO2, vaporized magma, basically comes out of the ground thousands of degrees, right? Pacific Rim is much like a cracked egg shell, and also like a bicycle rim. And in the middle of the bicycle rim is the hub. And here we are in the middle of the Pacific Rim at Hawaii, the hub of the rim. And we got pressure comes out right there too, just like a pressure cooker would with the little valve at the top, right? Okay, so there's your Hawaiian little report here while I kind of jingle around a tad bit. Try to get a little bit better here. I missed my old tripod. It was a lot smoother. Okay, so there's that activity there at Hawaii, mainly SO2, less volcanic activity, relieves pressure kind of in that region. All right. Coming into this part of the world, back up for their time zone. Okay, so you can see very dark emissions coming out of this region, very porous, very spongy, soft crust here. So gas pushes out all over the place. Also fissures opening up and stuff as well. So a lot of pressure comes out of that region because this region's all blocked up. This used to be a body of water at one time, and the pressure of all that water sitting on top of it has compacted the mud or the base so dense that once it dried up, this is super dense, almost like concrete out here. So the gas doesn't emit there, so it'll emit twice as strong over here. And China is having their issues, okay? India following suit, okay? You guys need to kind of figure out what's going on. Look up in their skies, put 2 and 2 together, and start playing ball. Figure it out, because this is clearly what's an indicator right here. Signs in the earth. There will be signs in the heavens, sun, the moons, and in the earth. SO2 emissions spreading throughout the Middle East here, Saudi Arabia, all through Iran, Iraq, all through this whole area. All right, a lot of these are SO2 emission sites, but some of these spots are now leaking methane, which is a flammable gas. And when it hits, it comes out so hot that it's already at temperature. All it needs is just a little oxygen. So as soon as it breaks the surface of the dirt and hits the air, boof, it catches on fire. So we have SO2 emission sites as well as methane sites opening up that are spontaneously burning, okay, catching on fire. So burning pits out there. There's your region there. You can see it's little spot here in Africa. We're looking Europe here. Just one more. Oof. Get lucky on the flex or not. Benjamin Neighbors, there you are. Good. Hop in here. Not too late. We've got a lot of stuff to cover still. All right, so enough fidgeting. Now, we're going to do our sea surface temperature anomalies here for yesterday, because so much data compiled takes a day to produce this map. Okay, coming into this region now, you see up here at our Juan de Fuca, we're getting pressure coming out of this region here, and it's growing. We got a little red patch. It's still actually starting to creep north of the plate boundary, so don't be surprised if we see quake activity on the northern part of the Juan de Fuca plate, just north of the plate, and still stuff at the southern part. Okay, we have a big, huge yellow patch here that's opening up off the coast of, kind of south, more like off the coast of Monterey and Santa Barbara here, okay? So, new spot kind of opened up there. Also, let's note here, this patch here is intensified right off of Los Angeles, and that little finger that had poked in there and then retreated is now poking back in there. So prepare to see for an uptick in earthquake and magnitude in this region as well. Seven Spalding, yay! Glad you were here, sir. Pull up the spot at the table. Kick your feet up. Let's dive in. Okay, most of you guys know these are all thermal hotspots. Vents on the ocean floor, opening up, producing heat plumes at the surface. These heat plumes controlling the weather, because hot air foams over hot water, cold air over cooler water. Hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it. And we're seeing vortex activity because of heat plumes, which is controlling our weather. Now, over here at Java, quick little check at our relief valve. Look at cold water inundation as they're going into summer, mind you. Okay, it's about to be our shortest day of the year, their longest day of the year down here. And we're getting cold water inundation by Java, which is good. I mean, it's relieving a lot, so much that we're seeing cold water inundation. We also have a couple of little spots here that are new pathways of least resistance opening up. So look at this off of Africa. Let's dip even on this coast. Oh, activity picking up the Canary Islands lately. You can see why. Okay, this is why activity is picking up around Canary Islands. We might even see, some earthquake activity, little rumbles, maybe even another small eruption on any kind of burp out of the sun, any kind of more geomagnetic radiation that we absorb is just going to increase pressure, and these little spots are going to open. So right off the coast of Africa, pressure is starting to unfold up here as well. Out in the middle, along your mid-Atlantic ridge, off the east coast. Okay, we have cold water inundation right here, but your Gulf Stream really hot coming all the way down into here. And now looking here in the Gulf of Mexico, you can see something going on here that's offshore, because look here close to the shore, there's still cold water inundation along the shoreline. So this is a spot that's just right off the coast of Texas out here that's emitting a bunch of heat, turning all this water hot right now. Okay, and that's diverting air up through the country and stuff. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put the wind patterns on and get them going. All right, now we've had a different flow come in here. See, this rotation is pointing down now. So cold air that was colliding here mid-country is now coming all the way down. That's going to bring a cold snap to this region. Remember, we saw the polar vortex coming down to like Florida. In fact, we need to go take a little peek at that here in a minute. Let me just pull back and let you look at the your conveyor belt type structures due to your heat, cold water configurations. Now, this whole coastline here, still getting thrashed right along the coast because this stuff kind of doesn't really move too far inland. It just skirts the coast, comes back out, gets more moisture, it skirts the coast again. So there's just this conveyor belt of moisture being thrown right up through that region. Okay, so what we're doing here. Oh, Lord, we got too much going on in the brain. Other hotspots that are opening up, take these windows off. Other hotspots that are opening up. That's what's keeping that intertropical convergence zone up here instead of down here at the equator because of these hotspots that open up. Now, looking down here at Australia and New Zealand, our little plate boundary system that comes off of Fiji here comes up, wraps up, goes right up through these islands. Whoops, right up through this island chain, comes right down, okay, and curls off right here. Look at this big heat signature just across from our Pencil Island here. Look at the heat signature off of it. So a lot of pressure in this region, pushing out a lot of SO2 out of this island, as well as a lot of heat just offshore. So a lot of leaks in the crust down there, okay? All right, back to the winds. What was I going to show you again? Help me, you guys. Remind me. It was in the chat. What was it? The reminder was, okay, maybe not. All right, so there we go. There's your weather patterns now. That's why I try not to do reports when I'm thoroughly exhausted. So just bear with me. Maybe we'll pick it up later. Anyway, so there. Oh, I want to touch base really quick here with Taiwan. Our Fulcrum Point area, we have a new opening on the northern part of it right here, new path of least resistance. So we get pressure transfer that wants to, crack loose here. It's been transferred and leaking out there. So our magnitudes and earthquake activity at a Fulcrum Point here is kind of diminished for a while because of that. All right, what else are we going to talk about? You made me forget it. Okay, enough of that. Let's move on to our earthquake report here. Marching along. You guys doing okay out there? If not, take a deep breath. This is all part of the script, okay? The scriptures. What are we doing here? Earthquakes. Yeah, because it said in the scriptures there'll be earthquakes in diverse places. So that's why we do earthquake reports, because the signs in the sun, we do the solar report. Come on, USGS, please, Lord. Can we have this tonight? Thank you. So we got to monitor earthquake activity, sun activity, earthquake activity, all this stuff that was all the signs, right? Let's do satellite for your viewing pleasure. Oh, that's what it was. No, let's just start the report. Okay, so your deep quake region. Let's get into 4.8 down at 612. 580 is our, our deep quake kind of stuff that we're used to seeing a little bit. So down at 612 is a little bit deeper, and mid-range 4 is 4.8. So a little uptick in magnitude and depth right there. So a little indicator that pressure down below is starting to make its way upward. Really quick, plate boundary on this side, 4.8, same magnitude at the surface right there. Nothing down through this region. I showed you this whole area, this whole little light blue lump under the water there. That's all that area that's heating up. Okay, and here we are. Here's your Pencil Island right there. Let me close this out really, please. Okay, and this was, doing a good job as a relief valve. Since in the latest uptick in pressure in this region, We're seeing earthquakes now in this region again because not enough's being vented out of here. So we had this little spot here at Vanuatu that opened up a couple of days ago with a fairly decent 7 or whatever, and some quake flurry afterwards. Okay, it's on the flank of this volcanic island. This is a volcano that comes from the ocean floor to the surface. If you pointed it down, it's almost like a ski ramp or something that goes down and flat down to this trench, right? So that's on the flank of a volcano, and you can tell by the depth. When it's not 10 and it's down this depth, that's an earthquake caused by pressure coming up through this volcano. It can't come out the top. It's all plugged up. It's solidified. So there's like a rock, magma, frozen or solidified plug that keeps it from coming out. Meanwhile, as we start to get up to our fulcrum point in the bend in the plate boundary here, this is where you see your volcanic islands reaching out right here. Okay, this is a trench. This is the top of a mountain. What's in between the valley and the top of a mountain? The flank or the side. This would be the foothills, kind of down at the foothills of these underwater mountains. So you're on the flank of a volcano. It's not on the plate boundary and it's not right on the fulcrum. These are 5-0 down at 12. Have the other one, please, Lord. All right, a 5-4 down at 25, and a 4-7 down at 59. Slight uptick in magnitude with these 5-4s. Come here, why is it not playing that one? That 5-4 right there, usually we see 5 energy at the surface. Plus, with all the SO2 emissions and volcanic activity, that's a pretty healthy quake for this region for right now. So a good indication of pressure building up right there on that horn or on this little fulcrum point. Let's come back to our map area here. Right through here. Just kind of, yep, right off these islands and these little guys. So coming off these to these. So this region right in here, and doesn't look really red hot right now, but this was yesterday. So maybe we'll see an uptick in this region or something tomorrow. Meanwhile, it has relieved pressure in that region. Okay, so coming back, there's your quakes right there doing work on the side of a volcano here. So pressure in that region wants to come out of that volcano. Very quiet through that part. Hop over the island. We have a 5-1 here, scrubbing energy at the surface. And come over to the other side of Java. Uh-oh. This is right next to Krakatau. Krakatau's right here in the Sunda Strait. And a lot of pressure in this region. And so much, we got almost a 5 here, down at 53. So this is not. See this island right here? Down underneath there's some little seamounts coming to life down there because 53 is a volcanic depth. So something trying to crack to life on the ocean floor right there. We'll probably see a new hotspot grow there. It can quell it, or it can shift stuff in the strata, allowing, magma and SO2 to rise up through there. Really quick over here, bingo. 4.9147 volcanic feature, 4.937 volcanic feature, same magnitudes. Bing, 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 bing. Also right here, another 4.9. I told you how long that 4.9 list is, right? And why we sometimes make them 5s. Just saying sometime, okay? You just seen 4 of them in a row there. Anyways, all at the surface, scrubbing energy. Semi-fulcrum spot, there's a fulcrum point right there. And then right about here, you got to remember that this whole plate used to be connected here. And God came along and pushed it up. And these islands rose up out of the ocean and pushed the plate boundary to out here. So you have a break. It stops. There's the rest of the boundary on the backside. And then it breaks there, okay? So 2 fulcrum points right around there and right around here. But on the backside, on our plate boundary over here, is your 5.9 at the surface, scrubbing energy right there. So remember I showed you open spot right here, so no quake activity there. We'll go up that side in a minute. Let's go see what's going on over here. Again, 5-0 at the surface, scrubbing energy. And now we're seeing quake activity over here in Iran, a 4.7 down at 10. Just make sure it's not that way. Come on. Okay, this is just some site out in the desert, looks like. There's some facility right there. All solar panels are water collecting. Yeah. So back here where our quake is, come here, you. Bear with me here, just one minute. All right. You see this feature right here, this little volcanic feature sticking up right here. This is all pumice and magma that's solidified over the course of time right here. And you can see this little weak spot through the crust right here that it's made, this little fault, little bubble, double bubble almost there. And right here, your 4.7 is at the surface right there. So something jiggling loose right here. We get a new path of least resistance and we get a good round of pressure. You get bigger than 4.7, say they get a 6 or a 7 here. You see this sand that's right here on the beach? This is all water inundated sand. You shake that really hard, it'll all turn liquefaction, and a lot of this could slough off right into the sea there. That's a very dangerous spot right there. You see how loose the sand is, how this is a big pile of sand so high that it sticks up above the water. You shake that hard enough, all that could slough underwater because it's like gelatin. Remember, if you go to the beach and you dig down 2 feet, all that sand is water inundated. Place to watch. Look at all these volcanic features at this spot here. Bing, 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 bing. So this place has been rocking and rolling in the past. Okay. Plate boundary quake really quick. 4.9 again. Dang. A 4.9 again, huh? Like I said, the longest list in the world is a 4.9 magnitude on the USGS. What do you guys, 4.9? Oh, dang. They got me this time. 4.8, down at 72. Okay, a little something going on there. Want to check out our buildings really quick? You guys want to see the buildings really quick again? They're right in here. Oh, where we go? Oh, maybe they took them off. There they are. Okay, plate boundary, some little volcanic islands here, and lo and behold, what's going on under the ocean here? These buildings, a little strip of buildings right there. What's going on there, right? We've taken a peek at these before. And just let me show you something here. Okay, see these 2 little islands out here? This one is a seamount, finally reached the surface, a volcano. All right, look at this one. This little white island, roughly, probably smaller than this biggest square, or let's just say equal size to one of these bigger squares, right? Just kind of go take a peek at this island really quick, okay? Just kind of zoom in and you see that, well, heck, this island's got a town and an airport and weather of its own, neighborhoods, beaches. So that volcanic island with the runway on it is the same size. There's one of these guys over here. There we go. Huh. Say that one right there compared to that, maybe even a little bigger. Got some explaining to do. All right, let's move on. Quick time. So, oh no, wait, we got one more to do. US. Let's do all magnitude. Okay, Japan, a little bit up towards the Conchagna 4-4, nothing there. Lots of volcanoes, little micro quaking going on through U.S. You see it come right up the fulcrum point, ding to the top. Nothing really coming down the backside through here, but looky here, Juan de Fuca. And what was I saying? You're going to see pressure north of the plate boundary. Well, that's north. There's a 4.2 at the surface, scrubbing energy there. Come in here. A couple of them on the other side. Look, 2.7, 2.7 on the other side. On this side, we got a 3.3. Remember, we still saw pressure on this side. So even creeping a little further north. So we're seeing them on both sides of the plates because of that pressure in the region. Mid-range 3, well, 3.3, some mid-range 2s. Okay. Our weak spot, venting pressure as it comes in. Here's another one. Let's just kind of come back over to the one if you could really quick. Now, mind you, this is yesterday, but this little point is where the plate boundary comes out and then zigzags up like this. So you see this little patch of red inside the plate coming up, zigzag up through the cold right there. That little spot. Oh, zigzag up, and there it is. No surprise we see an earthquake there because we got some pressure off the coast right there. 4.2 at the surface right there. So scrubbing energy at the surface is good. As long as we're keeping those heat plumes down and kind of, well, we don't want that standing vortex out on the coast because it just keeps this atmospheric river and it feeds water over and over the same region for a while. So meanwhile, activity, when it ceases there, it seems that lately when it kind of dies out at this weak spot, it jumps over here to Nevada. And look at here. We still aren't having quake swarm activity at this spot in Yerington. Bigger quakes are 2, recent activity 0.6, but recent activity. There's some red on the map here where there is no red over here. So our latest activity being more in Nevada over here. This is, well, Tom Place, California, but coming along this Sierras there. Really small, coming down through the valley. I did have a 3-4 here in Cantua Creek. Okay, now your little feature down here, this eye-shaped structure, comes up to the plate boundary, comes down, comes around like this little almond UFO-shaped structure right there, okay? Remember I told you heat was inundating into this pocket, into this region here? Here's that structure comes out and bubbles back around and comes back down. So this heat under here, there's an indication of pressures coming up in that region, and now we're starting to see activity. Current activity in SoCal is at 0.8. Oh, there's a little bigger, 2.514, but these are current, okay? Oh, off the coast here, come back. Right in the middle of the eye, right there. We'll call it an eye structure. Right in the middle of the eye is a 2.2. Up here, just outside the eye, 2.2 as well. So same magnitude in that region, all because we're seeing an uptick in temperature and pressure. So a little warning, you might see a little quake activity in Southern Cal here. Not much, a little uptick though. 3, 4, something rattle, a few people. Meanwhile, 2s and stuff here at our man-made perforation. See, this is current activity, so the pressure has reached the surface here at this site. Right here, this is Louisiana. Yeah, I'm already looking at this right here, and this is a River Valley. Yeah. Meanwhile, 3.1 here. This is a site to watch here in Louisiana because it's really shallow. It's at 5 right there. Then we have a fulcrum point on the New Madrid right here. So you're 2.1 at the surface, really shallow. At your fulcrum point there. Nothing up the Craton today. Okay. So there's your quake activity for America. Let's just take a little peek what's going on in here. They're really small, but they're Utah's having some. Okay, what's this? I'm kind of just looking at depths really quick. I haven't gotten a chance to really go through this. Really quick up here too. You're seeing these earthquakes, the top of top of volcano right here. Okay, government camp, Oregon, 0.8. This is a earthquake on volcanic flanks at the top. Indication of pressure, new round of pressure down below, pushing up through the volcanic vent system. Okay, that's all she wrote. Oh, wait. For 1 magnitude check. Okay, still a little high in that region, not too much though. 4.5. Okay, now we're done. Moving on. We can clear that one out. We get a volcano report, the tidbits, and then we get to the spiritual report. So bear with us here. You're gonna love. Did you guys still kind of thinking about that weird shape you saw in the grass and how that didn't look familiar? Well, maybe it will when I explain it. Then you'll smack your forehead and go, "Oh, I didn't see it before." All right, here we go. 38 erupting and 34 in warning. That is 72 volcanoes altogether. I don't even include the ones that are unrest, okay? We're just going conservative with the red and the orange. Okay, so 38 currently erupting, 34 active. That's 72 in total. I'm telling you, 7 years ago when this stuff started happening to me, there was only one volcano. And if I'd have told you back then, hey, 7 years from now, you're going to have 70, 72 plus volcanoes, you would have said, Brian, you're crazy. Well, here we are. In a short 7 years, here we are, 72 volcanoes. Now, it may sound crazy, but I am still crazy about you. All right, let's get into this. My little shtick. I know you guys like it. If you don't, tough. All right, here we go. All right, Semeru, 15,000. That's pushing its maximum. That indicates pressure down below, surging up through any vent it can. Popocatépetl, 22,000. That's a pretty high blast out of that. That's an indication of pretty good pressure there. 14 out of Santo Guido, 14 out of Fuego. Here's Sangay pushing 20. Sabancaya, 22. So we have a couple of them that are over 20, a few of them that are 20 and over. Okay, that's a high blast. That's a lot of pressure to push that up that high. And that's just in the last few minutes. Okay, here's today, the 20th, which is, well, now yesterday, because I'm telling you, time flies here at this channel. Okay, now, there's your map of insanity. Do not get desensitized by this map. It should not exist at all, but there's your red interruption all over the world, and your yellow. Mind you, this area right here, all kinds of activity, relieving pressure in that region. Up here at the Kamchatka, blow your mind with Shivalus, Kluchevskoy, Bizamani, Karaminsky, Alade, and Ebico are all currently erupting. That's insane. And no, not a peep of it on the news. Stromboli, Etna, currently erupting. Iceland currently erupting. We got these ones waking up out here on the Aleutian Islands. This one coming alive. The home reef was a seamount that made it to the ocean surface. Imagine that. Okay, let's get into it. Ibu, I be with you. Okay, Sakurajima, 6,000 feet. Ibu, I be with you at 6,000 feet. Luatobi, 8,000. Dukono, 8,000. Popocatépetl, 22. Santo Guido, 14. Fuego, 14. Nevada del Ruiz back on the map here. Colombia at 20. Reventador. Where was the other one? Ibu had a higher blast. We were at 10,000 feet. We had a blast today out of Ibu at 10,000. So we were hanging out at a little higher altitude today. I was, in flight school today. Do not let these lists desensitize you. This is sheer insanity. Mind you, this is currently erupting. I'm not lying. These are currently erupting. And these are just erupting in a smaller phase. Okay, this is why your news ain't reporting on this. That's why they got you so distracted. Look at the carrot. Look at the carrot. Follow the carrot. Type media. Distraction, distraction, distraction. Look over here. Now it's this. Wait until the world wakes up to this fact. They're gonna go, what? And you will be like, yeah, I knew it. I could have told you. I told you so. I'm not a I told you so type guy, but let it just stand as it is. Everybody ready for a tidbit? Open wide, put your hand out. Everybody gets a tidbit. I want the models, though. I like models. Forecast models, that is. All right, your current weather conditions. We have so much particulates in the air. We have so much added water, moisture evaporating off the ocean because of these heat plumes, turning into water vapor, adding your concentration of water content in the air. Used to be 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Now it's getting higher and higher and higher. More moisture with more particulates to adhere to it causes heavier downpours, a lot more water coming out of the sky, stronger thunderstorms, all the craziness. So, okay, current conditions, blah, 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 blah. Big, strong one out here. See this lashing the East Coast right there. Morning of December 21st, the shortest day of the year, longest night for you vampires. Happy hunting. All right, here we go. Noon of December 21st, the first day, shortest day of the year. Here we are, noon on the West Coast with severe weather hitting the Oregon-California border right there at the Juan de Fuca. Possible waterspouts making landfall, large hail, high winds, power outages, everything goes with it, flash flooding. There's the afternoon, evening of the 21st, morning of the 22nd, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 23rd, noon, convection, nighttime, more severe weather, coastline right there, morning of the 24th, Christmas Eve on the West Coast right here. Everybody take heed. That is going to be quite an event right there. Then it pushes inland by noontime in the Central Valley foothills. That could do flash flooding, mudslides along the western side of the Sierra right there. Okay, so, and snow over the passes, snow up through Washington on the coastline with rain. So that's going to be a pretty healthy storm. Now, as we get into the afternoon of Christmas Eve here, the 24th, you see this little flare up of moisture coming up into here. There's your nighttime, morning of the 25th. So morning, Christmas morning, going to be a little stormy through here. Snow, possible icing right on the edge right there. There's your noontime Christmas Day, convection. Look out up in there. Nighttime of Christmas, morning the 26th, noon, convection. Again, popping up convection up there. Nighttime the 26th, morning the 27th, noon, convection, nighttime, 28, noon, convection, nighttime, 29, noon, convection, again over here, nighttime. Look at that, severe. It's a little ways out there, so that's going to change, but we're stuck in that pattern. I showed you those vortexes. That's the morning of the 30th, noon, convection, nighttime, 31st, New Year's Eve, noon, convection. Look at this. Nighttime, New Year's Eve, severe weather over New York right there. And that's 10 p.m. West Coast. That'll be midnight, so 1 in the morning. Let's back up. Well, that's not an hour, but between there, the afternoon, and the nighttime, watch out at New York at the ball there. It could be wet and sloppy. Morning of the 1st, okay? First day of 2025. Noon, convection, nighttime. The 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime, third, noon, convection, nighttime, fourth, noon, convection, nighttime, fifth, noon, convection, nighttime. Wow, look at this. See cold air masses and more moist air, and then the icing in between them there. What I want to do here, change regions, please do the Pacific Northwest and play that. Okay, here's your model run. Here's your dates and your times up here for your Pacific Northwest. You're seeing severe weather over and over again here. Your atmospheric river being unleashed on this region. I'll try to kind of leave it there with the timestamps and the dates. I want to take a quick smoke break. You guys go fast. Take a quick deep breath before we get started with the spiritual report. I know this stuff can be a little unnerving and a little disturbing, especially when you see the reality and the truth of it. So it's important to keep spiritually strong and level head. That's why we do our spiritual report. So take off your shoes, get relaxed, unbuckle your belt, quit clenching your jaw, take a few deep breaths. I'm going to take a drag here while I kind of regain composure here. Whew. All right, Lord, help me guide them through this. Give them strength, courage, hope, same strength, courage, give me. Okay, here we go. All right. So, very serious weather in that area. Everybody take heed. I've given plenty of warning and notice for this region and everything. So, everybody just brace for impact. If you're in that region, prepare, ahead of time, travel plans, whatever. If you're going over the mountains, bring chains, bring water, bring extra gas, bring another gas can or something in case you get stuck in traffic and your car's idling and there's no gas station. You could freeze to death in your car, right? So keep blankets, water, snacks, just an emergency kit in your car if you're out traveling and this stuff. It's better safe than sorry. Okay. Enough of all that. Let's get to it. Now, what I want to do here is we're going to get into these crop circles a little bit here. All right, and explain some of this activity. If we can, Lord, clear all these out. A refresh on that one, please. Give me just a sec as this pops up here. All right, so that was the main one, I think. Let me get it to play. Oh, it's trying. We'll probably have to have an ad really quick here. Meanwhile, a lot of these crop circles I put up in my channel here, they've been captured. These orbs have been captured making crop circles. Okay. Now, some of these are man-made, all right, but the ones that I really rely on that are the most authentic are the ones that happen in England, okay, near Wiltshire and that whole area, okay, and it's because of the bloodline that runs in that country, okay. They've been in control of this country for a long time, all right, so that's the reason why this region has been very reliable. Now, what we're going to play here was a couple of these ones. Maybe you guys can see the flying heart. There's a heart with wings. Okay. And then we're going to get to this weird looking splat looking one, right? That was on the thumbnail. It's coming up right after this one here in a second. Now, a lot of these circles are representations. Usually the inner circle is representative of our sun, okay? Any kind of ring that goes around it, and there's like an orbit of a planet. And there's love on the orbit going around our sun. Okay? So we're going to kind of let that one finish playing there. You see the wind blowing across the field. Pretty cool, huh? Then we have this one. Now, this is Potterfield, Wiltshire. Okay, this one's called. This is on May 28th of 2020. May 28th of 2020. Okay, I want you to kind of keep that in mind. All right, this one's called the Stonehenge one or whatever. Okay, I'm going to freeze frame it right there. Now, when we're looking at this, before I say anything, let's see if some of you have kind of put it together yet. You see, they called this the Stonehenge one. So you see down at this end, these little Stonehenge type little pillars sitting up. Well, where's Stonehenge? It's on Earth, right? So this circle represents Earth. This is our IMF, our magnetic field line connected to the sun, okay? And what are we seeing lately coming off the sun? These little spheroids that drag plasma out with them, right? From our vantage point looking at the sun, some of these would be coming off to the left and off the side, kind of going off the backside, dragging plasma out with them. See these little balls with the tail? Aren't these the same structures we see on our satellites that we started a report with? Do you see the sun with all the little things popping off and the different locations where we see them here? Now, inside the circle, the sun, you see these circles? Well, there's your sunspots on the sun. So the sun has the sunspots on it, and it's got these spheroids that are ripping plasma off of it, okay? Now, as we look at this configuration right here of the sunspots, note 3 of them are bigger and then 3 smaller ones. So it's much like that 3 in a row configuration that I had pulled up on the other one that I X'd out of my bat. Let me get this pulled back up here and get a side by side. Well, I need 2 of them open, so. 2024, was that the one? Yeah. And then this is real. You've seen the face with the disc, okay? That butterfly man is man-made, okay? So that's not a real one. Some of these are, like I said, are man-made, so you got to be picky and decipher them. Stealing are on the rise. Okay, that's why I trust the ones that are by Wiltshire and in England there. One was set down a long time ago called the Mandelbrot set, okay? And if any of you are math geniuses out there, you know the Mandelbrot set is a representation of infinity. And to have that high-tech math formula stamped into the ground is just screams higher intelligence. Hey, we understand infinity. We understand the Mandelbrot set. After that event, that clarified for most of these people that study this how authentic the ones are in this region. Here is your crop circle compilation for this year. So we're going to get this going a little bit. I'm kind of leaving the stuff muted out. All right, Wilton Windmill, England. Wiltshire, June 12th of 2024. This was this summer. This was stamped into the ground. Now, let me kind of wait until they get the whole configuration here. Okay, so we're going to kind of just, there's a good capture right there. Now, remember I told you, central circle kind of indicates the sun. The rings indicate an orbit, okay? What's on this orbit? 3 big black spheroid with a gap, right? At the gap here is the planets. Now, lately, in these last couple of seasons here, a lot of the planets have been on one side of the sun. Not in an alignment perfect like this, but all the planets have been on one side of the sun. That's what this is showing. The planets being on one side of the sun while 3 bigger objects rotate out of sequence. Okay? when we're looking at these, the planets, gee, do you think that could be Jupiter? Then that would make this Mars. That would make this one Saturn. Now, Neptune goes outside the orbit of Pluto sometimes. It has a different oblong-shaped orbit. So sometimes it's outside the orbit of Pluto. So this would be Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto inside of Neptune right now, all on one side of the sun, while we have these three bigger objects that rotate in like a sequence, bing, 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 with a gap where we get a break. And then we see one big object, a bunch of moons, another big object, some moons, another big object, and some moons, right? Coming back over here. So we see a big object with some moons, and then a big object with some moons, and a big object with some moons. What looked like a big splat and didn't look familiar at all at first when I said, does this look familiar? You're probably like, no. How are you gonna connect the dots on this one? Well, do you see it now? Here's Stonehenge. That represents Earth right there. IMF, magnetic field line connection to the sun that's squirting out all this stuff. All right, now what we're going to do here, so I'm going to come over to my channel now. We're going to pull this up and come on over to the community here. I just posted a new picture that I took today while I was out. Lot going on in this picture. I don't know if we could pick it up here. Yeah, we'll have to dim it later, but this isn't what I want to get into right now. What I want to get into right now is, all right, UFOs making crop circles. This was captured quite a long time ago, okay? Now, I'm a ufologist. I've been in this field most of my life, okay? Like I told you guys, I was plagued by UFO activity as a young child, okay? It was very disturbing, and still nobody understands, okay? But here's your UFOs, your drones making crop circles. This is old footage. This is taken way back in the 80s. So we're going to go ahead and play this. We'll leave. It's just some screaming sound or whatever. Okay, this is in Wiltshire. This guy had been seeing white orbs going over the field, so he kind of went up on the hill, up, captures the orbs flying over the field, and whooping. This is a real structure. That's a real crop circle that was studied, analyzed. It has the weird bent over effect, not snapped vegetation effect, okay? It's electromagnetically induced to bend over. As you can see, these spheres are using electromagnetic energy to press the images down into the ground. Then these images also radiate radiation too. When scientists come, and that's how they can tell real ones from other ones, they kind of have a little hint of radiation, geomagnetic radiation. All right, so what I'm going to do is just kind of play this over and over again, and you can see how these are pressed down really quickly by your orbs that are flying around, okay? And these are the same two orbs I used to see all over the place, all the time, everywhere, following me. So I know these two, this 1-2 configuration likes to be, together like that. One bigger and a little small one, kind of like this. The same configuration is what I have been used to seeing my entire life. So I can tell you that this is authentic. A lot of people try to debunk this and say, oh, the guy who produced this, there's a video producer. We didn't have the tech back then to do this, okay? That's real. They want you to have plausible deniability, because the fact that what you're seeing right there being the truth, all right, now this is higher dimensions, and these stamped images are all math formulas, divine math, higher principles, three-dimensional. So there's your UFOs, your orbs that you're seeing in the skies, creating, crop circles, all right? Then let me pull back here to my community page. You guys come over and check this stuff out too. That's why I put it here, so you guys can. Now, you guys want to see what they look like up close? Everybody's asking, how come nobody zoomed in or ever gets a drone or whatever to see what these things look like up close? Well, back in the day, people used to just capture them, okay? Because this is activity isn't new. So I'm going to go ahead and play this with the sound off. Actually, put the sound on it because you might hear this guy's panic in his breath. Okay, farmer out on his road because there's something out over his field. There they are. These orbs over the field, stamping stuff into his field. This one comes about, 10 feet over his head. I know because I've had this activity over my ranch for the last 7 years. Okay. And then this thing flies back over from behind him over his head and joins the rest out in the field. Okay. Probably does a better justice if you watch the original video on the link instead of me trying to videotape it. But they're just a spheroid, okay, that lights up. And they can come in and out of existence and stuff. Okay, now I'm going to show you something that's very important. How would you get this one on? Oh, meteor. There we go. Yeah, that's the one right there, I believe. Was that the one I was watching? Okay. So you remember this Russian meteor? The meteor that came in over Russia? Now, some of you guys know about this, but a lot of people don't. So we're going to go ahead and play this after their ad. Okay, bear with them. They're greedy. They got to have ads. Okay, so everybody remembers this video right here with our object streaking in. Let me just play this really quick. This is analyze footage. Okay, I went over this stuff a long time ago, frame by frame too, so I'm just going to let it play, and we'll just do it without the sound right there. There it is, coming in. You know how fast meteorites come in? How quickly they're moving across the sky? Now, this UFO right there in the box comes in, strikes this UFO. Let me darken a little bit. Comes in from behind it and goes right through it, splitting it in half, two smaller pieces that then burned up because they were smaller. Okay, this is what really happened. Bam! It went right through it. The ship itself went through the meteor. It didn't shoot anything at it. The ship appears out of nowhere, catches up to the meteorite, come from behind. This thing's hauling ass, and it catches up to it from behind. I want you to wrap your mind around how fast that is going, how it came out of nowhere and struck a meteorite. Now, see, it left two twin tails. So right there, it split into two objects, leaving two tails. It was one bigger object. And if it weren't for that UFO splitting that object into two smaller pieces that could burn up, even though they did a sonic boom, it's much better than that thing hitting the ground. And you have another Tunguska over Russia. Okay. Now, a lot of people would sit there and go, wait a second. This happened over Russia. Maybe it's Russians, defense. No. Russia did not pull this off, okay? They didn't even see this thing coming. But somebody saw it coming, didn't they? And they caught up to it from behind, boom, and went through it so fast that it split it in half. The ship itself split that meteor in half. making it smaller so it could burn up. So little does Russia know, but their ass was saved. Okay? They don't know that. They just think maybe, well, maybe some higher ups know, but Russia was spared. Okay? They should be grateful. Okay? A lot of these people on this planet right now have no idea the position that they're in and what's going on, and how many times they've been saved. And most people don't even know about this. They don't even tell you about this. You don't find out about this stuff unless you're in this field, okay? And I was in ufology for a long time, all right? It's different now. If it weren't for being into ufology and understanding that there is another realm or something outside of our normalcy, something that's paranormal, right? Much like the spiritual realm, the angels and demonic figures, they're they're paranormal too. So UFOs are like a stepping stone to accepting the paranormal, okay? And the more you see them, the more obvious they become and what they're doing, then you really start to realize, oh, wait a second, this might be divine forces because of the time we're in, right? And it said you would see these things, stars in the heavens, The wise men followed a brightly lit star that guided them, right? So, okay, there's your configuration right there with your three big objects in a row and then the gap in between. Well, right now, we're kind of in that gap. We just had the three big objects, and now we're kind of in that gap, all right? When those three come, it's, we all get bombarded, okay? Let's just say we take on a lot of different energies and stuff that from other realms, other things showing up. This is all stuff from 2024, okay? Wiltshire. These are the ones I trust more, the stuff that comes out of England, just because of their history and their lineage and why these symbols, these are warning symbols to them being stamped in the ground, okay? And faces too. Have you seen the face that was stamped into the ground? Oh boy, we'll get into that because darned if it ain't my face again, stamped into the ground now. And it's like, what? Are you serious? So a lot of people don't understand what's going on. Okay. There's good and bad. There's war in the heavens, right? Demonic realm and the angels. Okay. So this incident right here was a real meteorite coming in. Okay. It was big enough to touch the ground, leave a very, a huge damage path as it came in, too, with its sonic booms. So the fact that it was split in half and turned into two smaller fragments that could then, in turn, burn up and not reach the ground, I would say divine intervention. Now, they were talking about Putin saying he's got his what am I trying to say here? Hypersonic missiles, these super missiles and stuff like that. Well, they don't go as fast as a meteorite does. That meteorite's traveling 10, 15,000, feet per second, just screaming. This thing comes out of nowhere, catches up through it, goes through it so fast that it shatters it. Okay, so it hit it so fast that it went right through it. We put this in real time, you don't even see it because it happened so fast. This is slowed way down. So these things are super fast. They're a bullet themselves. Just the ship itself can go through objects, okay? Now, some of these ships back in the past were captured next to some rocket launches, right? And they were able to, disarm the nuclear warhead on a rocket. That happened back, I think, in late 60s. There used to be video out there on it. So we have divine forces that have always been here. They're just kind of spelling things out for us, okay? And then So what else we're gonna do with the crop circle? We showed them the three in a row. We showed them the splat one. All right, let's just pull up some images to read to for right now. Um, do you guys like that? Did that make sense? Did you see the sun with the orbs? Interacting with it, drawing plasma off, the sunspots, the representation of the three bigger ones. The three bigger ones leave big sunspots because they're a bigger magnetic field, right? So they would leave three big sunspots. Pretty simple stuff when you understand the spiritual realm. A lot of scientists are trying to theorize and postulate, and man, why don't you just look up every once in a while? You might just see something. And the reason why everybody's capturing this stuff is because they're finally looking up. It's actually, to tell you the truth, it's the media finally recognizing it, because this stuff was going on for a while and people were going, hey, 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 this is going on. And the media didn't recognize it. Well, now they're finally recognizing activity, and they're droning into your head the word drone. Huh. Droning into your head the word drone. They're actually using the word as a tool that it is. If any kind of drones, they're man-made. You got your military because you got all these people up there trying to figure out what's going on, and then you got your real activity. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is pull open this as well. I want to really quickly touch base with this and show you another, well, something from the spiritual realm that kind of... Welcome back. So I've been going through some of the old photos and running them through the filter, and this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. This is on November 5th of 2017, 12 days after the Revelation 12 star alignment. A lot of people didn't realize that stuff was coming true that was predicted in the Bible, especially that star alignment. Star alignments don't just accidentally happen. Only God controls the stars. So it's a sure sign when 2,000 years ago he says, look for this sign in the heavens. That will be an indicator of the times you're in, right? Well, we saw the Revelation 12 star alignment. All this activity started happening to me right before it and then right after it. And we're going to play this really quick here. And what's going on here is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. I was in some extreme anguish. A paranormal traumatic event happened to me, something so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it. So if I told you, so I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye and her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. A white orb, huh? With an eye in it. Let's see. I wish we could zoom in a little bit better, but you can just see there's a little black eye in there. The pupil, there was actually a little white around it too. You could see that it was an eye in this little spheroid, little ball of light. Okay. Same balls of light that are making crop circles. And here's Mary standing right next to these balls of light that have an eye in it. Okay, let's continue. And that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel. the silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here. And you can make out there's an angel right here. And you can even see his head right here. Going a little bit tighter. So there's the angel with his back to us. And his wings spread. You can see this feather right here coming out of their realm, crossing over these brown roof tiles right there. So, how many of you can see that angel right there? Huh? Here's his back to us and his wings spread there. Let's go a little bit darker. There we go. All right, so there's a real angel, real Mary, real orb with an eye in it, okay? All this happened on 2017, October 5th. All right, so there's the spiritual realm captured on a security camera, which is admissible as evidence in a court of law. Now, when I told people that I had captured angels that you could see, they listen differently. They're like, oh, you're seeing angels, you need a straitjacket and medication. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. The Revelation 12 star alignment happened and angels showed up at my house, and you can capture, they're getting captured on my security cameras if you take a look. But nobody would look. They just assume that you're crazy. Now, let me ask you a question. If you see this angel right here with his feather sticking out going into this realm right here, okay, you too are, I guess, supposedly crazy. You're seeing angels too. But what they didn't listen to was I captured them on video or on to where you can see them. But no, all they wanted to hear was jump to conclusions. Oh, you're one of those, huh? No. This is different. This is important. This is very, very important. This isn't a joke. This is extremely important to you, Doc. So here we go. There's your angel standing right there in the shaft of light right there. And there's all kinds of stuff in the background there for those with eyes that see. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here. Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish. I mean, what happened to me was just so disturbing. I can't even So we're going to get into what happened to me. The night before, paranormal event happened to me, and I didn't know, okay, that this event here had taken place. It wasn't for a couple of years later. I went back through my old security camera photos to that one with Mary, and I thought, I wonder if there was anything that happened. Something told me that you missed something. You need to go back and look. So I went back, and this was captured the day before on October 4th. Let me just, let's see if we can get this date in there. We're just going to play the video. It's October 4th of 2017, the day before Mary and the angels showed up. This event was captured on the same camera. In the garage with our same display right here. And this was actually captured the day before the other picture, but I hadn't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything. And I captured this one. And we're going to zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw, she's smiling, she's looking down and she's holding a baby, and here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head, here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. See, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her. And you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God. Yep, it's a lot better there. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit better now than before. Let me just really quick here, before I get into reading here, I just want you to guys see the date up above there. 10/4/2017. Okay, that was the day before the Mary incident. Now, I didn't know what happened to me. Something weird came over me. Something weird happened to me. Started seeing the spiritual realm. Got this warning of the dragon. He showed me the dragon, so everybody saw the star alignment. They saw the woman, but they missed the dragon. So we're going to show you the dragon really quick, too. And we'll do that by going here. Take that. Pretty amazing stuff with that meteorite. Now, think of that. When we have meteorites coming in, maybe something else might be protecting us from that. And if they can dismantle nuclear devices, well, maybe some are allowed and some are not going to be successful. Oh, we're going to type it in. That's right. So let me get this typed in. You guys hanging tough in there? You doing okay? You enjoying the show? I know a lot of you guys have seen some of this stuff, but we're going to go over it a little bit because it's important. So, where are we here? Let's get it right there. Actually, just a tad bit before here. Here's our object right here. This looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all, because behind that is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma. Like we saw on the crop circle, the little thing coming out. Reaching out to this thing, reaching back to the sun right here. See that conduit of plasma? You see this big, huge spheroid right there? That's what God showed me on September 10th of 2017. So really quick, what we're going to do is we're going to open up to Revelation 12, okay? Revelation means the revealing, and it's also a revelation to you when it finally makes sense and it clicks. It's a revelation. It finally clicks. Oh, now it makes sense. You grasp the concept. So revelation of Jesus Christ, the revealing of him, the realization that he is real, that he's back, that all this stuff is true. So I want to get to Revelation 12 here. If you guys want to open up, you can. Let me get my Bible open up to Revelation 12 here really quick. All right. The woman and the dragon. Okay. Revelation 12. The woman and the dragon. All right. So, a great and wondrous sign appeared in the heavens. A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. That was the Revelation 12 star alignment on September 23rd of 2017. Here's September 10th. This is 13 days before the woman. Okay. It says, she was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth, right? You saw the baby in my garage, right? Then another sign appeared in heaven. An enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on his head. His tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth. All right, freeze right there. The dragon stood in front of the woman. When you take the original Jewish text, the original term, it says it stood in front of or before the woman. Well, this is 13 days before or 13 days in front of the 23rd. Here's the dragon standing in front of the woman. Now, everybody thinks that it's happened afterward because it starts off with the woman. Then another sign appeared. So that makes most people think that the dragon appeared afterwards. So they were all looking for this object, Nibiru, after the star alignment. And it never showed up. Nobody ever saw it because they were looking in the wrong time frame. God showed this to me. It was an arduous process. I did not see this at first at all. I mean, it was hours of what? I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Keep looking. Think the big picture. It wasn't until I left the screen and walked away to have a cigarette, and I left the cursor sitting on the play line. And see this smaller version? It takes this. The image I had was so big in your face you couldn't see it. It wasn't until it was shrunk down and compressed, just like the spiritual realm, that I was able to see it. Okay, so hours and hours went by. I hear him say, just take a break, go have a smoke. So I went outside, had a break, had a smoke, but I had left this sitting there. And when I came back in, it was crystal clear. And when I saw that, I knew exactly what was going on. There's the dragon, and you need to warn him. Well, here I am, a ufologist. I'm not a Nibiru guy. I see all these people taking pictures with their phones of the sun and getting a lens flare saying they found Nibiru. This is NASA's instruments. This is a coronagraph looking at the sun. This is not a doctored image. This is the other sign. And God showed this to me and said, hey, you need to warn people about this. I'm like, I don't know what the heck to do. I'm a UFO guy. But then more stuff came, and eventually it all started to make sense. So this is the day my life changed right there, September 10th, 2017. The dragon stood in front of the woman. I was shown this, and then that baby was born. There was the star alignment, and then right afterwards, that baby was born, and something came over me. I didn't know what was going on. I finally made this video right here and posted it, the warning, the wake-up call video, and then went out to the garage to throw up. I felt like I was dying. I thought I was going to die. So I went out to the garage. I'm on my knees praying, screaming, crying, and that's when Mary and the angel and God showed up. And that is actually, when you look at this all together, this baby being born, and then the next day, all 3 of these guys showing up. This is an anointing. And usually in paintings where you see an angel and God and Mary, well, Jesus is in the picture too. Well, he's in the picture here somewhere if you know what to look for. All righty. So there's that. Now we're going to get into our reading. All right. Hopefully that was informative for you guys, and maybe you're connecting some dots now, and it's making more sense as to what's going on, what you're seeing, and what you're thinking and feeling, and how all this stuff works. You guys have been really doing a good job, and you do good even when I'm not going live. You made it through, okay? And now you are at this point of the show in my presence. So what did I have for you guys? Oh, yes, here we go. First of all this stuff is happening for a reason. This is the time to understand that reason, relax, know who you are, how precious you are to me. I do this for you, okay? And I want peace be with you. Ever since the resurrection, this has been my watchword to those who yearn for me. So, as you sit quietly, let my peace settle over you and enfold you in my loving presence. That to provide this radiant peace for you, I died a criminal's death. So receive my peace abundantly and thankfully. It is a rare treasure, dazzling in delicate beauty, yet strong enough to withstand all onslaughts. So wear my peace with regal dignity, and it will keep your heart and mind close to mine. Okay, the more you give yourself fully to the adventures of today, whoa, knock that stuff over? Really? Sorry, we paranormal activity going on here. So, I'm going to start again. Give yourself fully to the adventure of today. Walk boldly along the path of life, relying on your ever present companion. You have every reason to be confident because my presence accompanies you all the days of your life and onward into eternity. So don't give in to fear or worry. Those are robbers of abundant living, aren't they? Fear and worry just rob you of abundant living. You don't have to fear and worry. You can overcome your circumstances with joy. Okay, my presence accompanies you all the days of your life and onward into eternity. So don't give in to the fear and worry, those carrot dangling medias, those robbers of abundant living. Trust me enough to face problems as they come rather than trying to anticipate them. Fix your eyes on me, the author and perfecter of your faith, and many difficulties on the road ahead will vanish before you reach them. So, whenever you start to feel afraid, remember that I am holding you by your right hand, and nothing can separate you from my presence on into eternity too. Okay. This battle that I've been in for the last couple of days, these big objects come in, all right? I work overtime, all right? So I get weak and weary. It's hard to get out of bed, and I got a big schedule. I was up since 6 o'clock this morning, and I'm still going. And I run myself ragged until I collapse, which is a bad habit I need to get out of. And it makes me weak and physically weary too, which is okay. Because you can come to me with your weakness, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual. You can rest in the comfort of my presence, remembering that nothing is impossible with me. Pry your mind away from your problems so you can focus your attention on me. And recall that I am able to do immeasurably more than all you can ask or imagine. So instead of trying to direct me to do this and that, seek to attune yourself to what I am already doing, which you guys are doing. You're attuning yourself to what I am already doing. You're doing awesome, by the way, too. Now, okay. When anxiety attempts to wedge its way into your thoughts, remind yourself that I am your shepherd. The bottom line is that I am taking care of you. Therefore, you needn't be afraid of anything. Rather than trying to maintain control over your life, abandon yourself to my will. And though this may feel frightening and even dangerous, the safest place to be is in my will. So, thank me for the conditions that are requiring you to be still. Aha. We got some turmoil. We have conditions that are now requiring you to take time out and be still. Huh. You guys have to take time outs and salvage your day sometimes, don't you know? So thank me for those conditions that are requiring you to be still. Do not spoil these quiet hours by wishing them away or waiting impatiently to be active again. Some of the greatest works in my kingdom have been done from sick beds and prison cells. So instead of resenting the limitations of a weakened body, search for my way in the midst of these very circumstances. Limitations can be liberating when your strongest desire is to live close to me. Well, like a red badge of courage, kind of, huh? You're a soldier in a spiritual warfare. You can hold your head up because your weaknesses, your limitations, your weakened body are in the midst of these very circumstances. So your limitations are liberating. If you can get that perspective, it sounds crazy, but it is possible. When your limitations become liberating, your strongest desire is then living close to me. So quietness and trust enhance your awareness of my presence with you. Just a little bit of quietness, just a little bit of trust while we're reading this enhances my presence with you, your awareness. It enhances your awareness. So these simple ways of serving me, and although you feel cut off from the activity of the world, your quiet trust makes a powerful statement in the spiritual realm. My strength and power show themselves most effective in weakness. So therefore, your weakness is requiring you to be still and thank me for that weakness. Thank me for those conditions. When you do, it takes the sting out of everything and you're able to overcome it and move on to your next accomplishment. And you're just going from glory to glory. And you guys are salvaging your days. You're overcoming stuff that's in the background that you're not aware of either. So just because somebody, rubbed you wrong and you overcame it and you think you got one glory from it, well, there were 10 other little things that went along with that you didn't see. So even when you're thinking you're failing miserably, you're still completing stuff. You're still accomplishing. You're still overcoming. It's about getting back up. All right. Today we're at flight school and a friend of mine crashed a plane. All right. And it's very heartbreaking. It's when you see a plane go down and everybody's okay. These are RC planes. Okay. But they're expensive and they go very fast. And when you see one go down, it can be heartbreaking and it could ruin your day. But there was still plenty of good weather. We still had a couple other planes. There were still people there. So you blow it off, fire up another one, get back on that horse and get out there and get back in the game. It's about being willing to get back up. When you stumble and fall, we all stumble and fall. That's what this path is about, stumbling, falling, and getting back up. It's not your performance. It's your willingness to get back up and quit and refuse to quit. Okay. Now, circumstances might get a little harder, and some days you don't feel like you overcame it. And you go to bed and you need more rest. You might need a day or two to overcome some of these sometimes because they get very deep, they get very intense, and they can be very demanding physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I'm going through it right now myself, so bear with me. See, I have to go through this before you do, so I can find the tools to utilize so I can give them to you. See, I go before you so that I can do, so we can do this. What you're looking at, these faces in the clouds that watch, follow, and study my every move, the UFOs that have watched, followed, and studied me since I was a young child, okay? the crop circles that they do, all this evidence that they do, all the other hidden activity like protecting even our enemies. Maybe they're not an enemy, maybe they're here guarding something else. Okay, because sometimes there's a teacher on the playground while the kids are in the sandbox, and the kids are over there fighting in the sandbox. Somebody got to come over and be the teacher, be the adult, and be like, hey, break it up. You kids aren't, you're just children. You have no idea what you're doing. You're fighting in the sandbox. One day you're going to grow up and you're going to look back and go, oh my God, I was a kid. I was a child fighting in the sandbox. But then you will mature. Okay, that's what this is, maturing through experience. When this stuff actually takes effect and you are practicing these disciplines and over, and you get well versed at it, you get some notches in your belt that gains confidence. You learn to start your day off with a simple prayer, and then as you're going along, all of a sudden hiccup comes along, and then another prayer, somebody gets you all wound up, you got to cool off for a minute, say a few prayers, step aside, regain composure, remember the battle, remind yourself the battle that you still have. You're destined for glory. Okay, you're gonna get a gold medal in this marathon no matter what. Just keep going. Now you're a runner in this race. A lot of the people are just spectators. They don't have a bib with a designated participant number, but you're a designated participant in this race. So it's not about your time or how well you looked running or whatever. It's about the obstacles on the course and you overcoming those obstacles. Those obstacles are the world, society, not the planet necessarily, but men and society and this wicked way of thinking that we've all been brainwashed with. That's the world. And when you overcome these and you don't let it ruin your day, even bad news on the radio or on the news, but you keep going on and you keep plugging forward and you just go one step at a time. Okay, don't rush them. Don't anticipate stuff. That'll cause anxiety. Stay in the moment. Be with me in the moment. The moment you kind of disattach from this is when you start to stumble and stuff. That's okay. Reach back for it. Grab it. Will lift you back up, get you back on your feet so you can walk again, all right? So you can continue moving forward down the path one step at a time, sometimes one moment at a time, all right? Also, another reminder, I know what's going on in the media. I know everything that's going on. It can be consuming. You're the one choosing to plug in to the mainstream stories and stuff, okay? That was what rattles you. They're trying to rattle you. So it's up to you. When you've had enough of the mainstream media and you want to unplug, you got to make that decision. Sometimes I want to have a peaceful day and I won't listen to any news or headlines until at least 3/4 of the way through the day, until I finally, just a couple of headlines, but then I don't go into the details. I don't need to see the video of the beheadings and stuff. That imagery on your brain is bad. You want good imagery in your brain. Think of things that are noble, good, righteous, okay? Quit focusing on all the bad, negative things that are going on. It'll drive you insane. Okay, so when you feel insane, unplug, take a minute, regain composure. You can pick up this image anywhere on any video. I show it every time I do a show towards the end. You can fast forward to any one of the live streams, pick out this moment just for the picture and say a prayer or to hear my voice or whatever it takes for you guys to regain composure, get back into character, and get back in the battle, okay? It is spiritual warfare. You guys you're the tip of the spear. You really are. You guys are. Not the CIA, not the FBI, not President Trump, not Biden. No. None of these other clowns around the rest of the world are part of this family, just you guys and me. Now, I know all about you, but you're getting to know me. And if you find this intriguing, you see my face and you see this crown here. This is April 17th, 2020. Remember that one crop circle was May of 2020? So a couple weeks after this event, that splat one with the sun was stamped into the field. Just a couple weeks after this. Okay, all in that time frame. Okay, that's because of who I am. You see this face. This is me coming with power and great glory in the clouds. Okay, when these things come to pass, you hear wars and rumors of wars, and you see earthquakes in diverse places, and we got 72 active volcanoes. Those are signs. There's signs in the sun and the moon, faces by the moon, all these activity, all these heavenly hosts. Okay, there's also all these other faces in the clouds. Those are the cloud of witnesses. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on in your clouds. That's how you find me, is by looking up in the clouds. And if you see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory, and you find this fascinating and intriguing, you are caught up. Like a good book or a good movie or a good YouTube live stream, you get caught up in the moment. You get caught up with me in the clouds. See how that works? You are technically raptured, even though that word raptured is not in the Bible. Okay? But it does talk about in these times you would see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory, and that you would be caught up. So you're caught up with me in the clouds. I can't come over to your house and give you a big hug. So we meet in the air of cyberspace, okay? Much like you guys meet with other family and other chat rooms and other channels. Those are all families as well, okay? They're just an extension of this family, all right? You're the elite family. Not everybody from every channel makes it to this one, but you guys do. Okay, so this is the family of families. And you are indeed caught up with me in the clouds where we meet in the air. I went ahead and made a place that where I am, you may be also. Okay, I can't come over, but I made this channel here at YouTube so I can post this stuff for you. That where I am, you may be also. Okay, I showed you the dragon. I showed you Mary, showed you angels. Okay, any of you knew about the dragon popping up before the star alignment? Yeah, see, I'm being shown other special information, okay, because of who I am. And once you trust and you believe me, that's when the miracle happens, okay? The rapture is happening right now. It's happening at any moment. That's the moment you decide to believe and trust me. You see these images, you hear my voice. I'll show my face every once in a while just so you can see that, yes, this is the same face as me. Okay, I'm kind of not into showing my face. I'm not a big, hey, look at me type guy. I'm trying to be humble about all this best I can. Okay, so this is for you guys. This is your tool. Okay, this is your foundation. You are the wise one. You built your house on the rock. Other people are building their beliefs, their foundation, their mental foundation. They're building it on sand, on the lies and the deception in the media. They believe that is the gospel. Boy, are they in for a rude awakening, aren't they? Huh? Why don't you guys ponder that for a minute? Wow. Is this world in for a rude awakening, huh? And then when you see these UFOs crashing through the asteroid, the meteorites, and how fast they can go, wrap your mind around that. They're dismantling nuclear things, wrap your mind around that. A lot of stuff that you guys get to really consider now because you have a good foundation on which to work from, don't you? Yeah. It's all because of what I've been through and, well, because of who I am. Okay. I love you guys. I miss you guys. All right. Yeah, I gotta wrap it up. I gotta get a little more rest. I'll try to come back tomorrow, or if there's any kind of breaking news or whatever, we'll touch base again here. But I just wanted to let you guys know I'm in there, still in the game. It's just rough, especially with the three in a row. Okay, I think you guys can sense it too. So just hang in there, keep getting back up, brush off the dirt, and keep going. And then you know that you can hold your head up. You're a soldier and actually accomplishing real spiritual warfare with real accomplishments that bring real peace in any of your circumstances. You're welcome, Don. I love you, bud. All right, you guys, I love you all. I miss you all. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell? Love you all. Bye.